Welcome to a mobile car mechanic review. Today we're going to be reviewing this Xtool D5S scan tool. We'd like to thank Xtool for providing a scan tool for review. Let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so specs for the tool are going to be a 3150 mAh battery, a 5.45 inch touchscreen with the resolution of 1440 by 720, and this uses a Linux operating system, which is kind of unheard of, as most scan tools in this category use Android. Also, you get 32 gigabytes of built-in storage, which can be expanded up to 128 gigabytes via micro SD card. So the tool supports the most common modules found in most cars and modern cars, such as the engine, the ABS, airbag, and transmission, as well as special service functions such as oil service resets, electronic parking brake service to retract the piston, and much more, as we will show you later. The best part of the tool is not only does this work with multiple brands, but you also receive free lifetime updates on all the brands that this device supports. All right, let's go ahead and unbox this thing. So, when opening up the box, the first thing you're going to see under the scan tool, of course, is going to be the packing list and the quick start guide. This thing's pretty easy to use, so you probably won't even need this. But this is the scan tool itself. I'll set this to the side. I'll take off the plastic cover here. But under the scan tool, you're going to go ahead and find that you have two cables. You're going to have a USB A to C cable. This is going to be used for charging. You don't unfortunately get a charging brick, but you know, Xtool recommends, at least if you're going to use a charging brick, that you can either charge it through the computer, which I've tried, but also if you have like a 5 volt, 1 amp, or 1.2 amp charger, that's what they do recommend. Also, you have the interface cable, obviously the most important, which is what's going to communicate with the vehicle when actually scanning for codes or the modules. So let's go ahead and look at the scan tool real quick. So on the tool itself, you have, obviously this is where the connector, well, the cable for the OBD interface goes to. You have the power button right there. And then under this cover, you have a USB-C port, which is what's going to be used to charge, and then an SD card slot, which I really couldn't find very much information on. I'm not sure what we could use it for, because, I mean, the thing has 32 gigabytes of built-in memory, which you can use a 128 gigabyte SD card, but I really don't know what else you could put on there, because all the databases are actually stored internally on the internal memory. So maybe for like future type of plans, whatever, but also maybe put in reports, because you can save like data logs and reports and stuff like that on the scan tool itself. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and power on the tool. You'll have to kind of hold the button down for a bit for it to actually power on. I'm going to show you how long it takes to actually boot. It's not that slow, actually. It's pretty fast. So I've already registered and set up the tool, but normally what's going to happen is that when you first get this thing out of the box, you're going to go ahead and have to either use an existing account if you have one with Xtool. Otherwise, you'll have to register and connect this thing to Wi-Fi, which right now we have it connected to Wi-Fi. As you can see, we have the signal and the battery, and of course the date and time. This is going to be your main screen. So once it's completed, you're going to be presented with your home screen. So that's what we're looking at right now. As you can see, we have auto scan, which is going to be used for automatically detecting the vehicle via the VIN if it's supported. So most modern vehicles are going to support that. Not all will, like, you know, older vehicles from like maybe the 90s or the early 2000s. Looks like we have an update here. I'm going to go ahead and not do that just yet. Then we have diagnose. Obviously, this is going to allow you to choose the vehicle. So you can choose the brand, and you know, the thing is, you have it sorted by whatever country the manufacturer's in. So if I wanted to do like Europe and go to Volkswagen, I could do that. I don't have it connected to a vehicle. We'll go ahead and show you that later, but they call it VW. But we have that, and then of course, if you want to go back, just hit the back button. And then we have OBD2. So OBD2 is going to be your basic, just regular diagnostics, nothing in depth. This is really going to mainly be used for checking like check engine lights for code, like engine codes. Maybe if your transmission communicates with the ECU or is integrated in it, it may also show you some of the codes for that. But also, it will allow you to go ahead and look at emissions data. Right now, it's not connected to the vehicle, so it's not going to work until we go in there. So we'll show you a little bit more of that and demonstrate it. But, if you want to check emissions, monitors, and stuff like that, if you live in a state where, you have to do an emissions just to get your registration or whatever, or a smog test, this will allow you to go ahead and view that data. Now, special functions, the great thing about this is this tool supports like different bi-directional controls, essentially, depending on what you're doing. So, of course, you can do ABS bleeding. So if you do like an ABS module and you got air in it, you replace the whole ABS module, or you do something major to the braking system where there's air actually in the ABS module, you can do that. You got a battery management system reset. And, maintenance light, coding for the injectors, window initialization. So if you need to set the auto modes on your window. But it should also allow for the electronic parking brake retraction. So if you have those, if you have an electronic parking brake and you want to do your rear brakes, this tool is going to go ahead and do it. So we'll go back. Of course, I have updates because I haven't really used this just as much lately. But as you can see, these are all free. This is all lifetime updates. Now, the problem with it, at least I couldn't find anything, is that to do them all at once, I have to go one by one, which kind of stinks. So we'll go to updates, but I don't think it's going to allow. Oh, never mind. I could be wrong. Just hit updates. So right now we're doing the updates. We'll let that go ahead and do it in the background. Okay. I guess I'll have to come back later because if I get out of it, it's going to cancel the updates. All right, so now that the update's finished up finally, I just wanted to show you the more section. So more obviously is going to be more of just like the settings of the device itself. So of course you have your account information if you really need to look at that, but your diagnostic reports are going to appear here too. So one thing, when I was testing the device before, what happens is whenever you do a scan or a diagnostic deal, it automatically creates a report. So I'll show you the one I had from my Volkswagen because it's a Volkswagen. So it'll show the the mileage, any of the data for the modules and stuff like that. So in this case it's the ECU. This is my the ESP MK60EC1 is the ABS module in this case, but you can do live data, which is what I tried earlier. But it's a pretty extensive report. This is when my ABS module actually failed. So if you ever get a 01130 implausible signal, that's because your ABS module, which is the electronic portion, has failed. But it's an extensive report, so you can look at it. Also had an evap code. But yeah, so you can share it via email or save a PDF. I'm just going to go back. But the settings are really where you're going to want to go if you need to make any changes. So out of the box, for me, it's fine. It supports multiple languages apparently, but I only see English in here, so I don't know. Otherwise, we can set the units. I just set it to metric. But made it tap. But yeah, you can change the Wi-Fi connection. The touchscreen on this thing is a little weird. Let me try my other hand. But yeah, you can look at how much storage you're using. You can clear cache like an Android device. Wi-Fi connection, you can do that. You can try to connect to other networks, whatever. But these are just like your basic stuff, date and time. So these are more device like basics. But let's go ahead and get into the car and kind of show you a little bit more in depth. All right, so now we're in the car. We'll kind of show you some of the functions now that it's connected to a car. So this is where you plug in the OBD interface. So we're back at our home screen here. Now, like I said, auto scan is going to automatically determine, hit the power button if it goes to sleep. Auto scan is going to determine your car by VIN. So I have a newer car that does have the VIN embedded into the ECM. So we'll go here and I'll show you. We'll do auto identification. If it doesn't, you can also do manual input, which would require you to actually enter your VIN number manually. But since I don't need to do that, I'll do auto identification. And now what's going to happen is, all right, I have a Volkswagen, so it's going to depend on your car here. Hit OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and select automatic detection. It's going to scan, like I said earlier, the engine, transmission, ABS, and airbags. So that's going to give you a summary of what you're connected to. Alright, I'm going to do an automatic scan. So it'll go through the basic systems that it supports. So as you can see here, it'll go through the systems that is going to try to recognize the modules that you have, and it'll tell you out of what number, 4 out of 4 apparently here. So I don't have an automatic, I have a manual, so I don't have a transmission module. But here it looks like I have an issue with the engine electronics. So it gives me a little arrow here. I can go ahead and tap on that. And apparently I have some issue with the steering column module. I've not noticed any drivability issues with the car. But if I want to, I can do a DTC report here, which is going to create literally a report here with the actual code and problem data. I'm going to go back. I'm going to try to do a full system diagnosis. I think this will scan. Okay, I can actually choose the module I want to select here. So I'll check the engine again. It'll present me the same codes. But this gives you the ability to go ahead and not only read the trouble code, but I can also clear it. I'll go ahead and do that. At least, let's see if it came back. Alright, good. And then, of course, if you can read live data based off any module that you want to go into. So if I'm going back to the electronics for the engine. If we go to live data. For Volkswagens, they do things by channel, but on most cars they don't. So I'll go to a custom list. As you can see, this is your live data. And what you can do is you can just scroll through whatever. This is only going to present what your vehicle supports, so obviously you may not have everything here. But I'm just going to go here. As you can see, we have check boxes on the side here. So if you want to graph certain data, you can do that. So, okay, I'll go with engine speed, coolant temperature, and oxygen sensor. And then if I want to basically consolidate the list, just hit show selected. And now it'll basically make it a lot cleaner, present the data that you're only looking for. Now, they call the graphing curve combination. So if I hit curve combination, it actually shows the graph, which you can also save the data. And it'll show you in the different colors here, it'll give you a little legend to show you what it corresponds to. So if I'm going to give the engine a rev here, you'll see a spike. So obviously in the red here is the engine speed, which is the RPMs. So you can graph data. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit the back button. And if I hit the back button again, it should bring me back to the list. I can go ahead and cancel I basically remove the checkboxes if I want to and select other data if I need to go ahead and look. So I'm going to go back. And then if you have a Volkswagen or something like that, you can read data by channel. So here in this case, I'm going to check my my phase detection on the timing. So it's block 93. So now I can check my angle here, which is an acceptable angle, by the way. So you can go to the previous channel, go back because I guess that channel does not apply. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit back. Just kind of showing you the basics here. Go back. Now, one thing I've noticed, if I use the auto scan, it doesn't automatically ask you to save a report. But if I go to like diagnosis, so this, with the diagnosis section, you can choose your vehicle. So I'm gonna go to Europe. This is obviously brand specific, so we'll go ahead to Volkswagen. Hit OK. I'm gonna go ahead and auto detect in this section. Hit OK. And then I will do an auto scan again. But it's a different section. And one thing, if you guys didn't notice, is that when you plug this into the actual OBD connector, it actually charges your scan tool. So I'm going to go to the engine electronics again. I'm going to do some live data. Do the custom list again. Show selected, I'll graph it. Now I should be able to hit the back button. If I get out of it completely, it should ask me to save it. Yes, I do. It should give me the ability to save a report. Unless I'm doing this wrong. Okay. Guess I was doing it wrong. Did it earlier. Do a manual selection. How about that? Nope. Do a system selection. Then full system diagnosis. Do engine electronics again. Live data. So now it does the automatic diagnostic report. So I can go ahead and save it. By hitting OK, it'll literally save any information that it has, like the VIN number and the mileage and all that stuff, and you can hit OK. Let's see if we can manually save it, because I didn't really see a button for that. Engine speed. Okay. That looks like it also, I don't actually have to go to the curve combination, but it looks like it does also allow me to hit a little drop down there. I'm gonna go back. I want to see if this allows me to go ahead and actually manually save the data, but I don't see it. I don't see a button anywhere that allows me to go ahead and save the report. But I think, I guess it just it does it automatically here. As soon as you back out. Or sometimes it does. I'm not completely understanding why it's doing that. But that's your diagnosis. That's your auto scan. Special functions here. Like I showed you earlier, you can do ABS bleeding. I tried to do it on my car earlier, and it doesn't look like it lets me do it, even though it says Volkswagen here. So if I go to Volkswagen, do an automatic detection. ABS brake exhaust. It says the feature is not supported for my vehicle, which is a 2010, which I'm surprised because this module is used in other cars. But let me see here. We are a 5K Golf. Try 2010. Let's see if it does it. Okay, so it's not supported no matter what. So we can try something as simple as, this car has a manual brake, so I don't have anything here that would necessarily require me to do like an electronic parking brake. But if I want to do a maintenance light reset, which in these Golfs you can definitely do it through the cluster, but for like certain cars like Audis, it won't let you through the cluster, at least, and you have to have the scan tool to reset the oil data. So I'll do automatic detection here. I'm gonna do an oil reset. I'll do an automatic setting. Okay. Do minor maintenance, and this is, we're gonna restore defaults. Let's try that. Or actually, we'll go. So standard on this car, I change the oil every 5,000 miles, but the standard on this car is like 10,000 miles. Let's try this. Okay. Let's see if it reset in the cluster. I gotta turn the car off apparently. And then we'll go here. We're gonna go to the cluster. And then we're gonna check service, see if it actually reset it or not. Okay, it looks like it did it in kilometers, so obviously your mileage may vary here with I don't know the actual thing, so I'm just gonna go ahead and reset it here. And it should reset to 10,000. Never mind, I guess it calculated it differently. So I guess it changed my my metrics here. So go back to the scan tool. All right, so after messing with the service maintenance reset stuff, just kind of wanted to just basically go over the same things that you guys saw earlier. So injector coating is going to be more like the newer, like European cars or just cars in general. So that's for your fuel injectors. If you have like a fancy headlight system, you know, you have the headlight adjustment and stuff like that. Also, if you want to reset the TPMS, if your car doesn't have one of those buttons to actually reset the pressures, which I think most common cars now do, but earlier models I don't think did. My car is a little bit different, but I'll kind of show you. I do have a TPMS light on now. So we'll go to TPMS Europe, and then I will do Europe, and then you'll choose your brand. Go to Volkswagen. I'll go to Golf. And then you have the year ranges over here. So I'll go 2009 to 2023. Do diagnostics. Okay, so this car uses a different type of TPMS system, so it's not going to actually show the pressures because it uses the ABS sensors to determine tire pressure. but I can still read the codes. Apparently it says 1. It's probably not going to give me a detailed one, unfortunately. So it gives me a code, but it tells me to refer to the vehicle service manual. I can try to clear it. Let me see what happens here. Alright, I'm going to try to go ahead and turn the key. I probably do have a low air in one of the tires, so I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, it didn't clear, but it should be able to clear it no matter what. Let's see if it does tell me anything here. So this is data about the sensors, apparently. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty in-depth tool. So I mean, if you're looking for something that does multiple brands, so if you have like multiple cars in a family household, you know, this is a good tool to have, because I mean, it's not just specific to one vehicle. And especially if you live in an area where, you know, you have emissions and stuff like that, you can do the what do you call it, readiness data. So we'll show you here. It's basically, I'll do it for the driving cycle because we didn't clear any DTCs, but it'll tell you if it's okay. If your car doesn't have it or it's incomplete, it'll tell you it's incomplete. If it's not applicable to your car, it'll say NA. But this is good to have because, you know, if you need to, you know, most shops that you go to get an emissions done will just tell you, hey, drive the car for 50 miles, 100 miles, whatever. You don't always have to do that. And this will kind of give you like that type of information. But for the most part, I mean, it's definitely not it doesn't do bidirectional controlling, which, you know, if you're just a basic person who doesn't really go, like, you're not a mechanic and stuff like that, it's helpful. It'll definitely give you the data that you're looking for, especially compared to a basic $20 scan tool, which just only reads like check engine codes and readiness monitors. This reads ABS, airbag, all that type of stuff. So, and if you have newer cars, older cars, anything basically after 96, this is going to go ahead and communicate with those modules. So, you know, you don't have to go to the dealer to go ahead and be like, hey, why is my airbag light on? Why is my ABS light on? Why is my TPMS light on? Whatever. This lets you do those type of things. So, I mean, this is definitely a helpful tool for me, but I would like something that does a little bit more in-depth stuff personally. But otherwise, for the everyday mechanic and stuff like that, it's perfectly fine. For somebody who doesn't work on cars every single day, who just does their own maintenance, just wants to understand, you know, oh, hey, why is my car complaining? This is going to be the tool that you're going to want to use. Would I recommend it? For sure. It's a good tool, and we would like to say thank you, Xtool, for sending this out to us for review. I mean, I'm definitely going to use it, but there's going to be certain things that I won't be able to use it for. But for the most part, if I just need to know what's going on with the car, this is more than enough. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.